Hello, as you might be able to see, quite a lot has changed since the last time I recorded the progress on this page of the webcomic. And I've rendered out quite a lot of stuff, but the thing is still the same, but there's just more detail, it's more fleshed out than it was before. What I'll do now is I'll go through the different panels one by one and explain what I've done in each one of them to make it look this amazing. So, to begin with, panel 1, I had to put down a couple of guidelines in order to get this right. I did do a sketch to begin with that didn't turn out quite well, but you can see the simplified shape of a box and a box on top of the box. In the end, it helped me to get the actual thing right. I decided that the car would be a Honda Accord, and I found these images on the internet to help me get the Honda Accord accurately onto the page, and I think I've managed that quite okay. Moving on to the if I just wait for the computer right here, this is no longer visible. Yes. Moving on to the next panel, the car door is open. The person stepping out of the car is still missing. I intended to take a reference photo for that, but I never got around to it. But well, never say never. But it has not happened yet, and I've just worked on other parts of the page in the meantime. I'm quite happy with this part of it. You have the asphalt and all of that. The thinking panel, I did spend a while trying to figure out his face. I have sketches of that actually. I'll show them in another video. What he looks like, what his face looks like, and I decided to go with a bit of a stylized nose. Firstly, because it's a lot easier to draw, and because it gives it a bit of a characteristic comic-y feel. Even if I fail to reproduce his face exactly every time, you will recognize him on the nose. So, as well, I guess it's a cartoon trick. Moving on to the shock image, I put in different psychedelic-like colors around his head, and put some blue highlights on his face. So the light, it seems like it's actually being shown with blue light from the sides, from behind, and his hair turns purple. It's a really freaky panel actually. I don't think it quite expresses the shock that I want it to, because the facial expression is not quite there yet, but it's quite okay actually. So I decided to leave it and say that it was good enough, because I do need to finish the rest of this page as well. Moving on down to the last panel. This one has probably been the one that's taken the longest so far. I put in the houses. I've refined the line work further, following my perspective grid that I explained about last time. I put down the pavement. I also put down the car in the front, although that's still not quite finished. It looks like this. And I put in the tree in a separate layer so it could be on its own, and used the texture brush to paint this bit. I've been playing around with the colors quite a bit to see what would work. I thought the colors for the grass and the green bits anyway. I have a couple of different shades of green. The hedge is slightly differently green than the grass. You have shadow here, a little bit of light, shadow, light. So there will be light coming from the house or shining through the house perhaps, because of the soap bubble thing that's happening. I added some detail, planks, bicycle, different things, thinking of what makes a house different from another. They're built the same type, but different people live in them and they've done different things to them. So one has these kind of windows, another has a different kind of windows, so it needs to be cleaned up really. For the bricks, I did a really simple thing for the bricks. I just took I just started drawing something like this, a brick texture, and then after a couple of bricks, or maybe 10-15 bricks or so, I just copy pasted the bricks and like so. I'm just putting it on a random layer at the moment. And then I just patch it up and copy paste and copy paste and patch it up and copy paste and copy paste. So like that, I've been making a big piece of brick texture that I then put on top of the house, and cut off the edges that I didn't need and put on here, and then using the tool in Photoshop that is in transform and perspective. I put this bit, I put the bits that go recede towards the horizon, put them into perspective as well, with a little bit of tweaking. I think my Photoshop is freezing right now. Just bear with me for a moment. The next bit I've been doing a lot of is the soap bubbles. These soap bubbles are far from done, and as you can see, I've only got a couple of them done. So what I did is I found this image of a soap bubble online and looked at it. So what are the colors like? There's actually some really freaky colors in a soap bubble I never noticed before, and I painted this one soap bubble. It probably needs a little more saturation than it has, but I will get to that. And I've painted 3 different soap bubbles, and I have then copy pasted that and made it a little bit smaller for these up, but still lots of more soap bubbles are missing, but I'm getting the idea done. Well, this one down here, a part of the roof is going into the soap bubble, so that had to be painted a bit differently, and it's my plan to do the same with these soap bubbles here, melting out of the house, making bits of the house visible in the soap bubbles. It's still a bit of a challenge to do this house, hence why it's a lot less finished than the rest of the page. I'm not quite sure how to do it yet, but I will go ahead with the soap bubbles and do my best, really. Text is not something I have even considered yet. But I do want it to be handwritten text, so I would write it in my own handwriting with the tablet, like so, probably. I'll have to figure out some kind of writing style that fits the comic, but that is now nowhere near the point of implementation. Right, so yes, I hope you will join me for the next video. That will probably be the last about this page, as we are nearing completion, and I'm out.